There are a lot of people right now trying to manifest a better life. Whether that means more money, more freedom, more confidence, more control over their reality, most of them fail for the same reason. Not because manifestation doesn't work, but because subjective morality is silently sabotaging them. Let me explain. Most people assume guilt is a moral signal, that it's evidence of right or wrong. But psychology tells a very different story. You see, according to Leon Festinger's theory of cognitive dissonance, the human mind experiences psychological discomfort when two beliefs, values, or behaviors conflict with one another. Not because one is wrong, but because the brain is wired for internal consistency. Your nervous system prioritizes predictability over truth. This is why Maxwell Maltz in Psycho-Cybernetics described the mind as a goal-seeking servo mechanism. It doesn't care what the goal is, only that it's clear and consistent. So, when people feel guilt while trying to manifest something new, they assume they're violating some higher moral law, but most of the time they're just violating conditioning. And here's the uncomfortable question most people avoid. Do we actually come into this world knowing right from wrong? Or is morality largely installed? Jean Piaget and Lawrence Kohlberg both showed that moral reasoning develops in stages, shaped heavily by parents, authority figures, culture, and reward-punishment systems. Meaning that a child doesn't know that stealing is wrong, they learn that stealing leads to consequences. They don't feel shame naturally. Shame is socially conditioned. What we call guilt is often just fear of losing belonging, safety, or identity. This becomes especially relevant when religion enters the picture. Christianity, like any worldview, is a coherent belief structure, a thought web. And thought webs are very powerful. They create meaning, stability, identity, and purpose. Robert Greene talks about this in The 48 Laws of Power, when he explains how belief systems anchor behavior by defining what is acceptable long before conscious choice enters the picture. And this isn't evil. This isn't manipulation. It's human. Everyone has a worldview. The problem arises when your desired result becomes incompatible with the worldview that shaped your past. When you try to introduce a new belief, abundance, autonomy, self-direction, into a mental structure built around obedience, sacrifice, or external authority, you feel friction. That friction feels like guilt. And people mislabel that friction as conviction, or God, or even morality. But psychologically, it's just identity protection. Carl Jung said it best. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Reality transurfing describes the same mechanism differently. Vadim Zeland explains that access potential arises when internal importance conflicts with external reality, creating resistance. You see, the universe doesn't punish you. Your own belief system does. And here's the key distinction most people miss. Conditioning is not bad. Worldviews are not wrong. Christianity is not the villain. The real issue is misalignment. If the life you want to live cannot exist inside your current belief structure, you have two choices. You either shrink your desires, which is what most people do, or you update your thought structures. Manifestation became easier for me when I stopped treating guilt as a moral authority and started treating it as diagnostic feedback. You see, guilt became a question. Which belief is being threatened right now? And more importantly, did I consciously choose that belief or inherit it? Psycho-cybernetics makes this brutally clear. Your self-image determines your results. Not effort, not willpower, not prayers. If your self-image says, people like me don't get that, your nervous system will sabotage every opportunity to prove otherwise. This is why trying to manifest without identity change fails. You can visualize all day, but your unconscious will veto anything it perceives as unsafe. And safety to the unconscious mind means familiarity. So let me be very clear. I am not saying abandon belief systems. That's dangerous. Removing a worldview without replacing it, it doesn't create freedom, it creates chaos.
I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice. Tumbling down the rabbit hole?
You can say that.
I can see it in your eyes.
Nietzsche warned about this when he talked about nihilism following the death of God. Humans need structure. The goal is not no framework. The goal is a chosen framework, one that aligns with the life you are trying to build, one that allows expansion instead of contraction. So if you feel guilt when you try to grow, don't suppress it, don't moralize it, investigate it. Trace where it came from, name the belief underneath it, test it against reality, and then slowly replace it with evidence through aligned action. That's not rebellion, that's authorship. And manifestation doesn't respond to guilt. It responds to coherence.